Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Shades End and a brand new video. It's been 24 hours of the Liverpool match. The FX are still on because the FX will still be on because we still have matches to play this Sunday against Wolves, all to do now in that one match. We're going to talk about the match against Liverpool, what happened. It means all things that is happening with Kepa Arrizabalaga, all things that is happening related to Pulisic. Let's go for it. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to start with Kepa. Now, before I start with Kepa, I'll tell you that I have been a Chelsea fan for almost 25 years now, and I've seen a lot of ups and downs. I've been there before Roman Abramovich came in. I was seeing Chelsea finishing every season 5th, 6th, 7th. We were beating the likes of Manchester United, but losing to teams like Derby County. That's how it used to be, in the older days when there was no Roman Abramovich. But then he came along and things have changed. But we have never seen, or I have not seen the last 23, 25 years that we have, given death threats to our players. There have been times we used to play very bad. It had us happen. Maybe not as happened after 2003, 2004, but still it has happened before. But death threats are a new low for Chelsea fans. If you call yourself Chelsea fan, don't take the club down that lane. We don't do those kind of things. Players can come, players do go, players play well, players don't play well. It is not the first time and not the first player. Kepa is not the first player who has played not so well for Chelsea. And they have been shipped out as well. Kepa will also be shipped out, in the coming days. But that doesn't mean that to give them death threats. That's not the way to go for Chelsea Football Club. That's not the way to go for fans of Chelsea Football Club, I say. So if you think you're a fan of Chelsea Football Club, stay away from all these things. You can obviously debate. You can always talk. You can always say that these players are not doing their best of jobs. And we can understand that. We can debate on that. Even I also at times feel that some players are not doing their job perfectly. But death threats are a big low for anybody. If you are a fan of, as 1% fan of Chelsea Football Club, stay away doing all those rubbish. Otherwise, get out of Chelsea. We Chelsea Football Club doesn't want to be associated with pathetic people like that. So, anyways, let's now talk about the real topic, that is Kepa Arrizabalaga. There's a lot of talk in the last 24 hours about him. Kepa out, Arrizabalaga out, and I was like, wow. I was thinking, should I be making this video now or when? And I was like, there's a lot of things, associated with one player or one person not doing well in life. I'm not sure how old you or how long you've been following Chelsea. I've been following for a long time, and I can tell you a little bit, when you clap your hands, you need to put both your palms together. You cannot clap your hands with one hand. What I'm trying to make here, make some sense here, is that it cannot be just Kepa's fault. Obviously he can have the biggest percentage of fault in him for not being the keeper that we wanted him to, especially on the kind of money we spend on him and the kind of wages that he's been paid. Saying all that, I can tell you there's a lot of things that is going behind the scenes, and Kepa has been part of it. And so the entire blame on Kepa is not wise. Yeah, you blame him, no doubt about it, but not the entire blame. So if 80% of the social media is saying Kepa is fault, Kepa out, but why you're not looking? But that's the half the picture. You have to look at the full picture. Maybe he's not getting the support. Maybe there's some things behind the scenes which is the reason why he's not able to give his best. And I can tell you, Kepa's downhill started from last season when he had a fallout with Sarri in the League Cup final against Man City, when Sarri wanted him to be subbed and he didn't want to go. And I think that's where the downhill started for Kepa. After that, what has happened this season has been that he is shot stopping. His awareness has not been that the highest, and it is now known for the few months only, the last few months, that Frank doesn't want him to stay. He wants a different goalkeeper, whoever that goalkeeper is. And this is false and adverse effect on a player. Look at yourself. So for example, if you work, or if you're even a student and you're going there and your teacher or your boss doesn't think highly of you, psychologically you will not feel part of that team, though you are part of the team. So no matter how big a player he is, how professional he needs to be, how much money he's earning, these things do matter. He's still a human being. So from Kepa's point of view, I can tell you that it's not just that he is playing badly, but there's a lot of things associated all around, which is negative. And if you look at Kepa, if you look at De Gea at Manchester United, he might have the similar effect also. He's also was a superb goalkeeper, but right now look at the way he is playing at times. So it's just not give it like that for Kepa. So for me, I think now that in social media, Kepa has moved away his links with Chelsea. Pretty much he knows for the last few months that he will be leaving. Obviously, there have been bust-ups. I'm pretty sure there have been bust-ups in the background. There have been decisions with Frank that he would not be staying. The goalkeeper coach Hilario is there. I mean, Cudicini was there in the beginning. Cudicini left. He might have had a bust-up with Frank on that as well. So a lot of issues behind that scene. So I know it's easy to blame Kepa, but there's a lot of things which goes around the scene which you have to keep a track of. So it's not just Kepa's fault all the way. Saying that, I see, yes, he has the biggest pie of the fault because he's still there. He needs to do a job as long as he's there, and he's not doing that. But if you look at, put Petr Cech in Kepa's position and put the same defense in front of him, Petr Cech would have had so many clean sheets. It's only Petr Cech had players like John Terry, Ricardo Carvalho, William Gallas, Branislav Ivanovic, and that is the reason why Petr Cech, in the legendary status Petr Cech that we all know about. But if you put him in this team with this defense, and a bunch of players that we have, I mean, he would have had a bad time and we would have been slandering him as well. So don't put Kepa as the only scapegoat. He has been made a scapegoat to a certain extent in social media more than anywhere else. He is not that bad. He will prove it that in the future. But yes, he is making mistakes. Even the best of goalkeepers used to make mistakes. I've seen goalkeepers from other teams where the ball used to run through their legs. But still, they were top goalkeepers. So because they play for so long, they make mistakes. Even strikers make mistakes. The other day, I saw Cristiano Ronaldo is an empty goal in front of him and heads the ball right above the goal. And that's Cristiano Ronaldo. Or even that Leo Messi also does some things like that. So they make mistakes. So is doing Kepa. So I don't think it's entirely they who should be blamed for it. But yes, they have to be blamed. But blame the whole picture. Put up the whole picture, not just Kepa Arrizabalaga. So saying all that, I know that Kepa will be moving out in the coming days. We'll see that happening. But, it feels sad. We wanted him to do really well. And I hope that in wherever he goes, as and when he goes, he will do well. But hope that he becomes a better goalkeeper. Doesn't end up like Karius from Liverpool a couple of seasons ago. But anyways, we'll leave at that for Kepa. We'll talk about the pool match. Yeah, it's been more than 24 hours. The pool match has happened. And what to say? There's been so much of talk about Pulisic. I have talked so much of Pulisic and why didn't he start? Now, first and foremost, let's start with the Pulisic thing, is that there was no mention of he was injured before the match. Not a single big YouTube channel, not a big account in Twitter. Nobody said anything about he was injured, slight injured, big injury. Nobody talked about that. So, as a fan, what you will believe? Was he injured or not? When the match ended, all the big channels on YouTube and all the big Twitter accounts, just came out and said nothing about injury. Not a single one I came across said anything about injury. They said, why wasn't he started? Then Frank says he had a slight injury. And then the agenda started with a lot of Frank supporters who said that he was injured. All of a sudden, everybody started saying that Pulisic was injured. That's the reason. But it's defending Frank. But where is your source? If you have a source, if you have an official document which suggests that Pulisic was indeed injured and this physio or the medical staff at Chelsea decided him to play only for 30 minutes, I will say, yes, you are correct. You guys are correct. Those of you are saying that he was slight injured. But unless you have a document saying that, don't come up and say that, he was injured. It was a strategy which really, Frank had of not playing him, playing Mount for a certain minutes and then bringing him for the last half an hour. When we were down, he could have brought Pulisic in the start of the second half, but it was not done. I mean, the start of the second half is the 45th, 46th minute. And when he was actually brought in was the 59th minute. That's a difference of about 14 to 15 minutes. What would have really changed in the 14 to 15 minutes if he had played extra? So it was not in Frank's head, not in Jody Morris's head, that to bring him on the second half. It was already pre-planned. And why it was pre-planned? Because Pulisic was not the only player who was substituted. There were players like Tammy Abraham who came in place of Olivier Giroud, and one other player I can't remember at this moment. But 3 players were substituted at this time. So it was pre-planned. If it was not pre-planned, only one of them would have come out. One of them would have been substituted. You could have easily brought Pulisic at the 46th minute, start of the second half, give him 15 minutes extra. I don't think a physio or a medical staff will say, dude, you're playing him 45 minutes, he will be more injured prone if he plays 45 minutes rather than play 30 minutes. But there's no official account of it. Nobody in YouTube at the end of that match, during the halftime, any big Twitter account said anything about his injury. It only came out after the match. It's just some Lampard fans want to defend him, and that's the reason all. He was injured. He was injured. Where is the official document? Who told you that he was injured? Frank said he was a slight injury. For that, he could have played 45 minutes. So don't come up with tales here. Come up with the truth, fact. Now coming to that, I think Pulisic should have started. Should have played 60 minutes and should have been subbed off. We came to a situation that a player like Pulisic, Abraham, whoever came in, wouldn't have done any difference. We were down 3-1, we were down 4-1. So if you bring a player like Pulisic at that moment, what do you expect him to do? So you should have started with him. So Frank got it wrong. If he was injured, let's put it this way. Yes, let's take it for a moment. For debate, we'll say, yeah, he was injured. If he was injured, you should have started him, play him for about 60 minutes, and then take a call. We could have been 1-1. We could have been 2-2 and take him out, play the defense. But we brought him at a certain time when it was already 3-1 or 4-1. What would have happened? You should have rather not bring him on. That time you're bringing him, thinks that's my only option. So Frank has so many things in his head. I think at times he loses to see the light. At times he stops making the decisions. And he doesn't have a good deputy, though I love Jody Morris because he was a top player for a few days or few matches that he played for Chelsea. I always believe Jody Morris had a heart of Chelsea, always had. But I feel that at times Frank is just a lonely guy out there, doesn't have too much support from the backroom staff. And he has a lot to do, and he doesn't have, so he at times, loses focus, I guess. Because this Pulisic thing should have happened at the start of the second half, not at the 60th minute. Because half an hour playing Pulisic when we are 4-1 down doesn't make sense. Should have started with Pulisic, should have played him for 60 minutes. We have just 2 to 3 matches to go this season. We're playing Wolves now. We're going to play the FA Cup final against Arsenal. We're going to play the second leg against Bayern. That's it. You should take the risk. A little bit of risk is necessary. If we have to make any chance, now we have to do is the tough thing, play a strong team like Wolves at home. Most likely we'll win it. We'll make a separate video on that. But I really feel that Frank lost it at that moment. Many people would like to defend him, but there's no reason to defend him. He should have brought Pulisic at the beginning. If he was unfit, play him for a certain amount of time and see how it goes. I mean, that's how it should be. Bring your best players at the start. If not, at least bring him in the start of the second half. Frank got it wrong. Now, I leave it at that. I also, one more time, say about Kepa. Okay, things have not gone out well for him, but please, no hate messages to any of our Chelsea players or anybody in that matter. They are also professionals. At the same time, they are also humans just like us. So I leave it at that. You guys let me know in the comment section as always. What do you guys think about the Kepa situation? What do you think about Frank was right to bring Pulisic where he brought him? I think it was not. Should have he started? Should have he started the second half, start of the second half? You guys let me know in the comment section as always. I love to hear from you guys. So until next time, I sign off. Bye-bye.